How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy Trader Prad. The final day of this week. Is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday? Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy Trader Prad. Trader Prad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Alright, what's up nerds? How's it going? We are back. It is Wednesday. Pretty sure it's a Wednesday. And boy, oh boy, is it cold. It feels like temperature, oh my god, it's like -30. So today was absolutely freezing cold. You know, my room is absolutely like an ice box at the moment. But thankfully, I got some heater running, and the heater helped me out for the most part of the day so far. But besides that, let's talk about the more important stuff, the trading. Got burnt pretty hard today, did some stupid stuff. Later on, almost made it all back, and then I did more stupid stuff later, and I basically ended red by a decent amount today. So ended red by a decent amount, giving back a couple of days progress, and you know, not really happy with what I did. So we'll talk about my trades, and then we'll also get ready for tomorrow's earnings movers on all the other opportunities that potentially will set up on my watch list. I got a bunch of stocks, from earnings names to AI names to the large cap, which I always like taking a look at, and then some other names that I found on the scan tonight to see if there's any opportunities on those names for us to trade. So opportunities all across the board every single day. Let's try to see where the money is. But before we do that, let's go to the full screen and talk about where the money was not today. Where the money was not. So did have some decent trades. I would like to believe I had some okay trades. I wouldn't say any A+ trades today. But you know, did manage to have a couple B trades that were profitable, and they were about to turn my day around also, but I just didn't do the right things that would have allowed me to turn my day around. So OKLO, long OKLO, because NNE was breaking out, obviously with the $500 billion the AI package deal that's going on right now, the Stargate infrastructure. A lot of that money is also going to go into the energy generation, which comes from some of the nuclear power plants, some of the energy names, and so on. So OKLO at a new high, NNE breaking out today. So looking for a little bit of a VWAP continuation trade. And you know, starting off in the open, I guess it really isn't a VWAP continuation. At this point, I'm looking for a momentum drive up, but that momentum really wasn't there. But eventually was able to catch a little bit of the move to the north side, and a nice little profitable long. I wish I was you know, trading the stock later on in the day instead of doing what I did, which is gave up the money on Netflix. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Nvidia dropped into VWAP, got actually below VWAP, and then reclaimed VWAP, so give me a good little long. But stock actually flushed a little bit too quick over there and triggered my stop, so missed the rest of the move. I guess I would have probably triggered the stop over here, maybe even triggered the stop in this area, and then I would have had to re-enter the position again if I really wanted the long. But I would have liked to imagine that I would have at least captured another $1 per share on that last few shares that I had left. But sadly, the stock had to push down and trigger my stop. A nice little long scalp over here from VWAP, reclaim back into high day, or at least I was aiming for high day. And here comes the losses. Only 2 trades that were kind of profitable for me, and here comes the losses. Sir, I see RV was planning for the $20 level yesterday with you guys, and the stock actually got above 20 right off the open, and that obviously triggered some FOMO. I'm going, oh man, I planned for this, here we go again, another stock that I planned for, and it's gonna do exactly what I wanted to do, and I'm not gonna be a part of it. So I had it on watch a lot more than I needed to, I guess, because as soon as the stock started to come back into the $19.50, into the $19 area, I fought for the long a little bit. Eventually, gave up on the long after seeing that, hey, we're not even able to reclaim VWAP. Every single pop is just getting, sold off, and eventually just taking a loss on this position. But that opening drive bullishness above 20 just kind of got me too excited first, and then FOMO also, because I'm entering without any real setup on the pullback, trying to catch a falling knife. The entry over here makes sense because I'm actually waiting for the prior bar to break, and then I'm studying the analysis into the tape, seeing how the stock going into VWAP, how is it reacting, how are the pops, how are the flushes, are there buyers, are there sellers, is there enough liquidity even on the book to kind of prove my theory that there's more buyers stacked against the sellers. So you're kind of analyzing the whole tape at that moment, and then you would kind of come to the conclusion that, hey, the stock is clearly not doing what you wanted to do. We're not going to reclaim 20. That was a slam down, and then you just kind of stay away from it. So pushing the trade too quick, and then kind of paying for it. This one, I would like to say it's not really my fault. It's just, I got gamed on. The $50 area was iceberging. Basically means that there was a lot more size that was on the offer than what the offer was actually being displayed. This is a sophisticated way of showing, or not showing, because you're not actually showing how much size you're intending to take, but it's a sophisticated way of hiding the size that you're intending to take. That way you don't get easily spotted on the market, and then people start front running your order. So I saw that $50 area coming into play, stocks just not able to get above it, so I set an order to get long on the break above 50, and the stock doesn't even break $50, and then it kind of scams you into that trade into the long side. It happens sometimes, not often, but it happened here twice, and I got scammed into the long both of the times over here on the stupid name today on TEM. That was absolutely atrocious. Later on in the day when the trade actually worked, I was just not interested to be a part of it, but I guess that's actually when you want to be part of it, because hey, we go into previous day's VWAP, which is yesterday's VWAP. We go into yesterday's VWAP, bounce, seller here taking profits, or getting short, we don't know, taking profits or getting short, double bottom into the previous day VWAP, and then goes and breaks the seller, comes back down, and then comes back up again and tests the seller one more time. So multiple reasons to keep an eye on this move over here, and actually look for the long. Later on in the day, it gave you a little bounce, but that kind of got stuffed also right above 51, so the trade just starts to die off over here. Later on, I wasn't that interested, because I was like, hey, you fooled me once, you fooled me twice, I'm not going to get fooled again. Just not gonna happen, buddy. Nope, not gonna fall for it. Sadly, I didn't say the same thing to Netflix. So Netflix, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times, fool me 4 times, fool me 5 times. No, it didn't actually do me that many. kept trying the long a couple too many times, but because of how expensive Netflix is and how spready it is, you just quickly lose more than you plan to in a single trade. So a couple losses and then a single winner, but that winner wasn't really of any big PNL wise. Could have even been, honestly, a flat trade. So not really a big winner to pad the loser. The problem on this trade was I was too late for it and not recognizing what's against me, because right here is the trade that I was looking for. This is previous day VWAP. The stock bounces off of previous day VWAP, or you can say, sorry, earnings VWAP. The stock bounces off of earnings VWAP and gives you a little bit of a long scalp, but that gets sold right back. So your long basically ends somewhere in this area if you were looking for that earnings anchored VWAP long, as I was last night, which we were planning for. So didn't really recognize that it already played out. I forced it later on when it came into play, and obviously too weak on the day, sadly, on NFLX. Still strong on the day technically, because it closed like what, 9-8% up on the day, but weak on the day on the intraday as people are taking profits on this name. This was another scenario that I did talk about in length yesterday, that NFLX could easily open below 1,000 or open around 1,000 and then get slammed back to the downside to go test the earnings anchored VWAP. I guess that was the trade. That was the trade where you had to go short for the move into the earnings anchored VWAP, and you would have gotten an easy $5 per share by risking maybe, easy $50 a share by risking maybe potentially $5 to $10 at best, right? $5 to $10 at best. You are getting a $50 per share trade to the short side on a nice little retracement to back into the earnings anchored VWAP area, right back into 950, which is exactly a level that I said that could come back into play yesterday. Man, I just had to push the gun too quick. This was stupidity, straight stupidity. The stock actually got above 150 and looks strong above 150, but I guess I defined strong wrong. It was creating a higher low. Yes, it also created a lower high at the same time, but it created a higher low right around 150.60. So I just offered into 150.11 for my full size, and then I just like, okay, if it gives me the fill, I'll take a look at it and I'll trade it. It gives me the fill, and I'm basically saying, you know what, I'll just risk $1 per share because I'm okay with losing $1 per share for the size that I have. But it's why even take a blind trade like that? We're catching a falling knife. It's not really breaking previous bar highs. It's just no setup over here. If I want to even be alerted to the trade, then don't just take a full size entry, because now you can't really work the position, and then when the trade might set up later on, you're too salty for taking a hit on that. So a little bit of stupidity on this one over here. Just the whole day was just stupidity today. The whole day was stupidity. Oracle, you can see how it kind of bottomed out into this 180 area, popped back into VWAP, and just started trading sideways around VWAP. So I got long into the sideways action, and I took the breakout of the range high. That failed and pushed right back, but then after that pushed lower, it popped right back up and started holding back above VWAP. So I got back into the trade with more size than I had previously, but sadly I didn't really take enough size out on that move to the upside, which was almost $1 per share profit. So didn't take out most of my size there, and then I started adding on the way back, and had to basically close the trade for a slight loser slash flat at the end of the day. And yeah, sad performance across the board on the day today. Sad performance, horrible performance, not just sad. But hopefully tomorrow we'll do better. Overall, lost about 1.2. So that means I lost 2.2 units more than I like to lose on a day, but still was 60% away from what my company allows me to lose on a day. So try to risk more on stupid setups and got punished for it. Hopefully that doesn't make me size down tomorrow on the good setups and then not make enough money, right? So you got to keep that balance. If you sized up on the shitty setups, you gotta go to work tomorrow and be able to size up on the good setups too. Size up on the good setups and then slam them, really slam them. Use your exit rules, use your entry rules, your exit rules, and really juice the best out of a trade. All right, let's bring in Trading View here, as we are going to take a look at some of the earnings movers from tonight. Let's actually start off with, my garage is opening. Let's take a look at the earnings board. We got GE, American Airlines. Those are the ones that are reporting tomorrow pre-market. I don't really see anything else that I care too much about. I guess you could throw in Alaskan Airlines, UNP in there, but not sure I really want to even care about those at the moment. From today's after hours, Alcoa, DFS, Discover, and then you have, where's the other one? STLD. I don't really look at STLD's charts, so we're gonna take a look at that together right now. What does STLD's chart looks like? I guess it's got a little bit of a back and forth volatility and some ranges. Let's take a look at the volume on the earnings report. Nothing at all, nada, zilch. So gotta take a look at the report to see if there's any trade opportunity there. But we're gonna start off with the names on the watch list at the top of the watch list, which is Alcoa. Hey, how did you do on your earnings move? You did move a little bit. You moved up and you moved back down. Hello, where's my anchored VWAP? You moved up and you moved right back down. ER and actually closed below or kind of holding below today's low on Alcoa. So let's bring in the earnings watch list, or sorry, the Benzinga screen. What am I saying? I can't think right now. Let's bring in the Benzinga screen. For those of you interested, check the links below in the description to get 10% off on this amazing software. Not only can you use it for news, I also have Squawk running throughout the day. You can also use it for scanners, for alerts, for charting, for heat maps and other interactive graphs, economic calendars, and econ calendars, and all other fun stuff. So check out Benzinga Pro, get 10% off in the description. Alcoa reported fourth quarter reports, 1.04 versus 97 cents, 3.48 billion versus 3.33, increase from 2.59 same period last year. So all things looking good. Not sure why the market sold off the stock after an initial pop. Maybe something to do with the conference call. Production decreased 2% sequentially to 2.39 metric tons. 2% sequentially to 5.7 increase. However, what decrease? Alumina and aluminum. Is that two different metals? Okay, learning something here. However, aluminum increased a little bit by 2%, and the other one decreased by 2%. Let's see the outlook. Said it's expected to 2025 segment to be production of 9.5 to 9.7 metric ton, a decrease from 2024 due to curtailment of the Kawinana, I hope I'm saying that right, please don't kill me, refinery. 2025 total aluminum segment production to range between 2.3 to 2.5, an increase from the 2024 due to smelter restarts. So overall, a little bit of a mixed report. Not really seeing too big of a banger report here to trade off of, and looks like the move also reflects that exact same sentiment. You got a little bit of a back and forth on this name. Tomorrow in the pre-market, if we get some action and the stock is actually holding above some of these previous levels, like that $40 area, is this 40 high? What is that? 40.50. So holding above 40 and getting back above 39, maybe there's a long over there for us to play with. But for now, I just don't really see anything too interesting on Alcoa for us to get too excited. Same thing with STLD, another it's not an aluminum producer, but I guess steel producer. Same thing at the end of the day. How did you guys report? Misses 1.36 expected, and you report, oh sorry, 1.42 expected, and you reported 1.35. 3.95 billion expected, you reported 3.87. Let's see, however, what is it on the year-to-year scale? This is a 47% decrease over earnings on 2.61 from the same period last year. The company reported quarterly sales of 3.87, which missed analysts by 2%. This is an 8% decrease from the same period last year. So a little bit of a damage over here on the earnings report. Not looking good. I don't have any guidance. I don't have any outlook on the stock. Or any deeper metrics on it. So this is all we have at the moment, and what we have is not so good news on the earnings report. However, no real reaction on the stock here. Potentially some volume increase tomorrow, and a little bit of a sell-off will take us right back into the low side, and then we can see if there's any trade opportunities, potentially short the pops. Will be a trade opportunity to keep an eye on, but for the most part, it looks pretty dead if you ask me. So let's go to the other stock that reported earnings today. I guess this will be actually the only other stock that reported earnings today that we care about. Yes, it is DFS, and the chart on this one looks amazing. The daily chart looks good. We have decent amount of volume. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's okay. Average 30-day volume of 1 million for a $200 name. It doesn't really mean good liquidity, but with the earnings move coming in, you can see how even before the earnings reported, the stock had a nice little breakout. I'm not sure if it's into an all-time high. It is into an all-time high. So before even the report comes out, it breaks out into an all-time high, and then after the report comes out, you get a little bit of a pump on the move, and then not really any follow through on that move after. Maybe you want to put it on here, Prad, where the volume actually starts. So DFS, a little bit of a pump to the upside. If by any chance the stock has bullish catalyst on the earnings report and it dips into this 196, 197 area where today's VWAP is, it should bounce right off of it and then start rallying back up to the north side and then test the 200 area. So that should be one permutation where it goes here and then it just bounces off of it. That could even bounce in pre-market itself and not really set up for any real trade opportunity tomorrow off of this area. But if it does do that, then you are keeping an eye on how the stock is behaving above this $200 pocket, because that is basically new buying territory. Not a lot of volume even took place today, and you can see somebody knew about the earnings report already, I guess, because the report looks like it was a good report. 41% beat on EPS. They were expected 3.6 and reported 5.1. Some big beat on the EPS side, and the stock already breaking up into the north side, going into an all-time high, breaking a good little multi-day high to the north side also. So just multiple reasons why the stock might just be a little bullish to keep an eye on tomorrow. So dip into whatever that is, that VWAP today, 196.60. So keep an eye on that area for a possible dip. I'll just say 196.50, right? 196.50. Watch this area for a potential dip zone. I guess I could just draw a line for myself from here. Right? Yeah. There we go. And then for the upside, the earnings anchored VWAP right now is around 201. So ideally, you want to see that turning into a support, so the stock starts to hold above the 201 anchored VWAP and actually starts to build its way higher and higher and higher. So this could be technically day one tomorrow, because earnings move is day one, but today, well, it could also be looked as day one, and tomorrow could be looked as day two, especially if it goes into that today's VWAP and bounces off that. So you kind of have a multiple confluence move over over here to the upside. That is very exciting for the day trade. So watching how the 200, I guess the infliction zone, I'll put that on my watch list over here. The infliction zone is the $200 area. Now ABT. Reported earnings today, I want to say pre-market. Yes, reported earnings today pre-market. Didn't see what the report was. Missed on revenue, beat on EPS. Did they grow at all? Did they grow? Let's see. 7.2% up year to year. Not bad. You know, even though they missed a little bit on the report, they did okay. 7% growth, I guess, is not that bad. I'm trying to see where the outlook is. Oh, there you go. I just moved too much to the lower side. 5.5 to 5.55 versus 5.16, so within range. Organic sales of 7.5 to 8.5, and okay, first quarter EPS of 1.05 to 1.09 versus 1.11, so that's a little bit of a miss, but overall kind of in line. They missed EPS or was it revenue slightly, but they still grew by 5% year over year. You can see how the stock is had a nice double bottom into the 200-day moving average into 111 area, and then also pushing into this multi day top. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 day top coming into this $120 zone. So if the stock actually is able to burst through 120, or even you know, set up for a nice breakout opportunity right before 120 and then blast through 120 to the upside, I think there's a long over here to keep an eye on for a daily chart pattern, especially for a earnings day 2 play. Not that the report was great or anything, so keeping an eye on as an earnings day 2 play. Potentially want to do this right here, boom, and that's the ER. And now wait and see how the stock reacts. I kind of want to be involved if we do break above 120, and you can see how the stock basically stalled just before 120 today and sold off. Nice little rejects from that 120 area just to prove my theory a little bit more, because that's exactly what you want to see. Some sellers stepping in before that area, and then tomorrow if that seller's still there and they're wrong, their stops should be not too much higher than 120. That means you get the nice burst from that seller push, and then you get another burst from the longs coming into the play on those stocks. The next few lists of stocks over here I actually have are the stocks that reported, because I don't want to really take a look at PG, Halliburton, and J&J. So it's like, you know, what am I going to do with these boomer names? They're stuck in boomer ranges, right? So I'm not really too sure I want to do anything with any of these names. Procter & Gamble might actually be something, if I remember correctly. I did want to put that on my watch list, and I did not. So let me just throw in PG on my watch list. PG. Okay, but walk back into really quick into with the stock I was looking at, which is NFLX. So you know, technically the stock did what I said it would do, which is go down to 950. But I didn't capitalize on it, so it's a little sad to see that happen. Didn't capitalize on it. Now the question is, do we get a full gap fill? Do we get a full gap fill into the previous all-time high where we obviously broke out from on the earnings move? Or, you know, does the stock continue to hold this 950 low from the after-hour dip over here and then give you a move back up to the north side? Today it was very weak. Fairly weak today. You could have taken the short on the low day break. That could have been a setup. You could have taken the pre-market low break. That could have been a setup. You could have waited for it to pop into VWAP and then see how VWAP was getting rejected and then go get short there. That could have been a setup for you to play with. So opportunities were there. You just had to take advantage of it. Sadly, I did not. I did not, mate. I did not. But what do we think about tomorrow? What do I think about tomorrow on this stock? So either if it doesn't hold above that 941 area, which is actually 942, 941.75, 942, it could easily just go back down into 910. They did say they're not gonna grow on their customer base anymore, at least not for now. They're not expecting to grow on the customer base. They feel like they've kind of capped out on the expectation beats on the customer growth side. I was actually watching Bloomberg TV while I was trading today, and in there the conversation was that Netflix added in one quarter about the amount of subscriptions that Peacock TV has. So that's an insane number right there, right? So that's an insane number just to see how far ahead of their competition Netflix is. So shout out to Netflix, obviously on a big beat on the earnings report. But this drop over here was a nice move to capture the short side. I wanted to say, expected, but no, I stopped myself from saying expected. And a nice little drop down to the south side to capture the short side. But for tomorrow, yeah, I think it's got to hold above 942. 940, why am I thinking 490? 942, 941.75 is the previous all-time high. It's got to stay above that if we do get back to the downside. And if we do start holding above 950, I'll say that's the inflection price. If we start holding above 950, then a move back to the north side is very much something to keep an eye out for. Possibly a move right back into the earnings anchored VWAP / today's VWAP, because the stock's ATR is about $30, so a $30 move back into the VWAP, or even a little bit back above higher than VWAP, is around 980 or so from 950. So let's see how low it goes, and then how easily can we get a good $30 long on that position. UAL, I did say don't look long on this name, right? Don't look long on this name. Did I say that, or no? I think I said that for Seagate. I said that for Seagate. Don't look long on this name for a breakout. And if you listen to me, you would have actually saved some money. Thankfully, save some money, because it does break out, but it gets stuffed right back to this outside. Anyways, coming back to UAL, reports good and then sells off, but then when the competitor reports good, it actually blasts off to the north side. So like, what the heck is going on here? Not sure what exactly is the game plan over here for United Airlines, because when Delta Airlines reported, they started flying off to the north side. When they reported, they don't want to fly off to the north side. So maybe when American Airlines reports tomorrow, they want to fly up again. So we'll see what UAL wants to do off of this report. Now, clear, it's like pretty easy levels off of UAL for me. It's 105, and then you got that 111. So either the stock gets below 105 and starts looking weak below 105, or it starts looking strong above 110, above 111 area, and then you start looking for a long above, straight back through to the north side, as potentially American Airlines gives it some sympathy. So watch how UAL sets up tomorrow. Seagate, I think there's a mean reversion coming in over here, especially if we can start holding below some of these key levels. I think this 105, which is last month's high, where is that? That's right here. Should not really give you too much buying. Maybe the stock could even give you just an inside day where it just trades like this, but eventually either this or that, right? So that's what I'm expecting. So maybe no trade tomorrow, really. If we do get a pop back into today's high and a reject, I'll keep an eye out for a short. For the downside move, I'm probably just going to wait. I don't think I want to be involved in any opening drive plays on Seagate at all tomorrow. The liquidity is going to be a lot worse than today on this name, and from my previous history of trading it, it's just not a fun name to trade off the open, especially when it's not an in-play name. So you want to be very careful. 3M, I mean, this stock was at like what, 120 just last week, right? 120 just last week, 150 now. There's a couple of stocks that look like that. So I'm not sure if keeping an eye on the stock is even worth it. It did bounce off the earnings VWAP pretty well. Bounced off the earnings VWAP and then moved right back higher. Technically, day 2 worked exactly as intended. So day 3 would mean that it continues to hold the earnings VWAP and then potentially starts trading above 150. But I'm not sure I'm interested to even do anything with this name anymore. I got burned today, so I'm a little sour on that name. I might change my opinion tomorrow pre-market if there is some volume on that name, especially if the stock is holding above 150. I might change my opinion on it. But for now, you know, I don't think I want to do anything. There is a trade on that stock, right? As long as it holds earnings anchored VWAP, there is a potential long. So I'll just throw in EA VWAP on my notes for 3M. Procter & Gamble, did not see the report, so don't really know too much about it. Fairly flat EPS and revenue, a little bit of a pop on the move over here. Potentially having an inside day, so I'm guessing not really too exciting to the downside. Unless it really gets, you know, weak below 164, which is right around today's low, also this previous low over here. So if it can get weak below 164, there could be a short, but I'm not expecting the stock to get below 164 and stay below it. Potentially a good long if it does go down there and bounces off for you to you know, catch a long back into 166 area. So keep an eye out for probably Procter & Gamble as a bounce play from that 164 area. GEV, I guess it didn't really do too much, huh? Did sell off pretty drastically over here when the report came out, and then just retraced right back up. Whoever sold on that move feels like an absolute idiot. Ooh, thanks for the follow, whoever that was. GE, not sure if I really want to be doing anything with this name. However, today's range is so tight. Tight. It's tight. Potentially worth keeping an eye on it. If you look at the daily chart though, you know, the stock was just at 333 at the start of the year. Now it's at 430. All right. GE, same thing. Stock was at 170, now at 180. Oracle, same thing. Stock was at 160 just last week, man. Just last week. We were at 150, 160. Now we're at 190. What are we exactly expecting the stock to do? Go above 200 and blast off through 200? No, not gonna happen today. Maybe in a couple days after some consolidation, some sellers come in, some profit takers come in, and then some consolidation, and then a bigger catalyst to the upside. Another reason why expecting the move higher was ridiculous, because Elon Musk said the funds aren't even secured. It's not 420 funding secured. No. The funds are not secured. Only 10 billion out of the 500 billion for the Project Stargate was secured. So Oracle taking a little bit of a struggle today to the upside. However, ARM blasted off to the north side, inches away from all-time high, setting up for a good mean reversion short if you ask me. Boy oh boy, this is an insane move on ARM, especially if we keep going higher. You can see how the last time ARM did something like this, it gave you a beautiful short to the south side, and I am very interested to keep an eye on this one for tomorrow. Probably high priority for a mean reversion. That means going through my charts catalogs, studying through charts, going through semiconductor stocks, going through any stocks that actually ARM probably set up. Do I have any that set up for ARM? Let's actually see really quick. All entries, filter by setup tag, filter by name, ARM. I only have one. Yeah, I don't have any for ARM, but I can go mean reversion and find all types of mean reversion plays and study mean reversion plays for tomorrow, because I think that will be the high priority for this stock over here, mainly because hey, that 500 billion package is bullish, yes, but hey, only 10 billion of it is secured, and not all 500 billion of that is going into semiconductors and arms. However, semiconductor and chips are very important in the creation of an AI, right? So is energy, so is a server rack, right? So tons of companies to benefit from that project Stargate, and hence you know, you're seeing a little bit of a bump on some of these names, Nvidia, ARM, and so on. But ARM, I think this is an insane move. Have to keep an eye on for a failure to stay above 180. Have to keep an eye on for potentially going into a new all-time high and then having a failed break of all-time high. So lots of trade patterns. I think pre-market will be very important to keep on, especially off the open. If the stock goes much higher off the open, rips higher, and then gets sold off, I love it. Give me. Going to a couple other stocks over here on the watch list that I have scanned for today. CLEU, not sure what exactly is going on. Recently had a stock split, but CLEU catching a little bit of traction. 126 million shares, small cap, probably looking at the chart, 100% small cap. China Liberal Education Holdings. So, you know, just looking at the name, you already know exactly what the gameplay here is on this stock. As long as the stock is staying above $5 tomorrow on any dips intraday, you want to potentially look to get long, because this stock could have a little bit of a blast off later on in the day. So as long as it stays above $5, you might want to think about, you know, spotting for a long. It's right now trying to break out above $6 and so for sure on my watch list. Another one, I think APH actually reported earnings today. It did, and broke out above all-time high. So day 2 play on APH. Let me move APH to the higher side on my watch list. Why is this so low? APH breaking to the high side to a new all-time high on this earnings report. Not sure what the company even does. Electronic technology, electronic components. So basically, as long as it stays above 77 for me, I think it is still a long. And even if it does get below 77, you have the previous all-time high, which is what, 75.61. So that will be the second spot that I might try for a long. But besides that, I don't really want to be fighting for the long on APH. Besides those two levels, a little bit of a volume spike coming in, going into a new all-time high area. TEM, scam name. Be a little bit careful. You know, obviously Nancy Pelosi name breaking out recently, so not sure exactly what to do with this name for now. As long as it stays above $50, I think you know, you can continue to look long. But you know, just know that it was very dirty to me today. But usually the day it's dirty, the next day it's not as dirty and gives you some decent setups. So potentially worth keeping an eye on. Oracle, inside day most likely coming into play. Keep an eye out. This is the news VWAP, so you see how we're not that much higher than the news VWAP. So potentially holding above 180. If 180 gives you some support, I think it is an easy opportunity to look long off the 180 area on Oracle. OKLO, energy names. Very interested in the energy names, especially the ones that are going into new all-time high. Example, OKLO, a new all-time high came into play today. Nice little 3 full days of green and 3 full days of upside move over here incoming. So you know, keep an eye out on OKLO, but more importantly, NNE. This one is just short of the all-time high. It actually today tickled the all-time high area and sold off. This first could be also, keep an eye on for a candidate of mean reversion. So look at how you know, study the charts from these days, how the stock behaved on that day, how the stock behaved on even potentially that day. maybe the circumstances are different, and yes, the circumstances are different, but this could be something that you want to do. Study that day, and see, even these days, study these 2 days over here and see how the stock actually played out. That way you'll be able to potentially capture a decent amount of short. I mean, what was the high to low on this day? 33 to 29, right? Good short opportunity there. I think there's a good trade coming up on NNE and maybe even on OKLO, honestly, because both of them are overextended. But if both of them show supports on dips, you want to be ready to flip long on these names. So keep an eye on both of these ones. There is another one, SMR, but I'm not that interested in this one at the moment. OKLO and NNE are the two ones I'm keeping my eyes peeled out for. Coming back to the AI basket, Palantir making a little bit of a recovery, charging back towards $80. Obviously, Palantir, a big AI name. It's in the defense technology basket also, because they provide the U.S. government with tons of defense contracts, defense help and so on, defense, whatever. And then Palantir also, helps my enemy Ferrari with analytics and how to get better with their car. However, they're not doing that great. We'll see if they do good this year with Lewis Hamilton now in their driver's seat. But yeah, Palantir always on the watch list, especially with the whole AI basket hype that's going on. Nvidia, nice little pop and continuation so far on Nvidia, but you can see how it's had a lot of trouble into this all-time high. So no real ranges right now to play off of. You're kind of just playing level to level. You're using the 5-minute patterns. You're looking at the market. You're looking at the semiconductor stocks. You're looking at the semiconductor ETF, and you kind of need to form a bias and a thesis for the start of the day, for the middle of the day, for the later on in the day, because anything can happen on the whole sector, because it's kind of new space, right? You got Trump kind of shaking up the sectors a little bit, so just keep an eye on them and stay vigilant. But for now, the easier trade on the semiconductor, I think, was just ARM for me. Keep an eye on ARM for that mean reversion trade, and then potentially some other trades. Did I hear Intel making a pop today? No, it did not make a pop. Tesla. What is Tesla doing? Not much really happening. I guess it did drop down a little bit, dropped to 415, and then stayed right around 414.50. Wow, notice how I have a line at 414.50 for like how long now, and the stock just trades around that area. I like it. No real trade I want to kind of pull off on Tesla at the moment. Amazon broke all-time high today again, so keep an eye on Amazon for sure. Meta about to push into its all-time high area. Found a little bit of a selling, I guess. All that looking at Lauren Sanchez kind of pushing the stock over here to the downside, and actually pushing Lauren Sanchez to the upside. So, Amazon over here getting benefit boosted to the upside, whereas Meta getting slammed a little bit. Microsoft making a nice pump up. Meta is part of the AI basket of stocks too, actually, if you think about it. Microsoft in the AI basket of stocks, with OpenAI, with Anthropic deals and so on. So Microsoft over here making some moves higher, bouncing off the 200-day moving average and inching closer to the all-time high zone. Google, obviously in the AI basket, struggling around the all-time high area a little bit. But what if Google actually starts holding above 200 and looks bullish above 200? You want to be ready for that opportunity. So if Google starts showing support at 200, you want to start playing that trade. And if it's ready and the market's ready for you, I think it's going to be a great opportunity. Great opportunity. But what I mean by market's ready for you, I mean, market's going higher, the sector is going higher, sector meaning Magnificent Seven, the AI sector is going higher, the catalyst for the sector possibly has a newer catalyst, meaning more funding news possibly coming out. good news in general. So that will take Google, the sector, the market, all of it higher, and then Google obviously going into a nice little breakout. And that's why I like Google out of the whole Magnificent 7 basket. Out of the whole Magnificent 7 basket, there's actually one that I'm missing to add, and that's Apple. Apple potentially, creating a little bit of a bottom into 219 at the moment. We'll see if 219 bottom area actually holds, and we start start climbing back up to the north side, or does it just start having another inside day? Basically, you could look at, I guess this is not a 3-bar play, but a nice little back-to-back same candles. Yesterday's candle high and low, today's candle high and low is basically the exact same. So we'll be waiting to see how the stock reacts tomorrow with the rest of the market. No real trade plan or interest even on Apple, and that's why it's not even on my watch list. VATE, this is actually a 3-bar play almost on the daily chart. So VATE, I got a good short on this stock on day 1, if I remember correctly, or was it a long? No, it was a long on day 1 that I did not trade properly, because if I did, it would have been a monster trade and today's loss would not have mattered. Anyways, VATE looks like no volume today really, but it's might have trapped enough shorts where if the stock actually breaks out of $11 and finds buying above 11, it could really go higher and create some excitement for us for the long side. It might have trapped some shorts over the last few days and getting ready to blast off. So I'm looking at the short flow. It's only 5% at the moment, but look at the flow. It's only 5% of the flow, and on the first day the stock traded 31 million shares. It's gotta have trapped some shorts yesterday, some shorts today, and most of their stops are going to be around 11, 11.50, 12. So the higher the stock goes, the more exciting VATE gets for me. So watching how this one sets up for the day tomorrow. VERV, nice little breakout going into the daily chart. So if the stock can get above $8, I'll be watching for a play on that one. I'm not sure if this is a small flow, low small cap or not. Verve Therapeutics, VERV, 22% short flow. I like seeing that number. 63 million short share flow and a 600 million market cap. So indeed a small cap, indeed a low flow, and very much shorted. So very excited already to keep an eye on this name. Right above $8 you have the 930 area to keep an eye out for, so make sure you're putting these levels on your watch in case you are watching to or looking to trade these names. So if it starts getting above 8, some stops should trigger, and if it starts getting above 9, more stops should trigger. Then you got a gap fill to the upside and all kinds of craziness that could potentially play out. So the higher we go, the more excited I am, first for the long side and then for the potential short later on. DNA, kind of the same idea for, I don't know if this is a small cap. Let's kind of go Google this. DNA, what do you do? Ginkgo Bioworks Holdings. Okay, 20%. I love it. 36 million float, 700 million market cap. I love it. So everything's exactly how we want to see it, and setting up for a nice little potential breakout above $13, and then above $13 you have that little pocket of area into $16.50 to keep an eye out for on DNA. So these are the small cap scans that I have that potentially could be used to make some quick buck for the long side and then even catch a nice little short side later on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically watch list for tomorrow. Let me just quickly scan through the watch list to see if I missed anything. I basically talked about all the stocks that I wanted to, and I have a pretty good watch list for tomorrow. And now we just care about what econ calendar looks like. I think econ calendar, from what I remember, was actually looking pretty dead. Not too much on the economic calendar. I'm wrong. Continuous jobless claims, that is pretty important. So 8:30, we got the jobless claims coming out. The initial jobless claims, the continuing jobless claims. So let's just say jobless claims, right? They're coming out at 8:30. Crude oil inventories for you oil traders, that's at 12 o'clock. The 10-year tips auction at 1 o'clock, and the Fed balance sheet after market close at 4:30 p.m. This is all on Eastern Standard Time, just so you guys know. So 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time is when the jobless claims come out, and obviously that's a pretty decent number for that can move the market. So keep an eye out for that one. IPO calendar, we got 24th. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to learn more about this company. And then on the 28th, which is Tuesday, we got another big company IPOing. And then on the 31st, we got a little bit of a decent sized company IPOing. And then on the 24th, oh, so two companies on 24th, one small, one big. So two IPOs on the 24th incoming. So we're gonna learn more about these two companies tomorrow. Make sure you come tune into the show around 8 o'clock as I talk about my trades. Hopefully it's gonna be a nice green day tomorrow, and I slam the market, make the money that I lost today back and more. But that's not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is to, you know, take the right trades, take the right size, trade the right way, and stick to my exit rules, not trade PNL, not be impatient, and so on, right? So stick to my plan, stick to my goals, and you know, greatness is not that far at that point if I do that. It's not that far. Just gotta stick to the plan. Besides that, I think nothing else to really talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Time to maybe talk about my sponsor for the stream. Go check out Flash Research. The link will be obviously in the description below or in the bio, depending on the platform you're watching me in. Get 10% off using my link in the link tree page. Flash Research, amazing tool, especially for small cap. So if you're interested in small cap names, actually, let's show you how amazing of a tool this is. Let's go to a stock that we're interested for tomorrow, NNE, and let's change the gap filter to 5%. Apply filters for gap percent 5%, and you can see how out of the 29 times it's gapped 5% or more, the stock is closed 51% of times red, meaning below it's how much was today? 7%. So let's actually set 7% instead of 5%, because the stock fucking gapped 7% a lot, or 5% a lot. Let's go to 7%. Closed green on that day. Okay, how about the next day? I like that. 50% of the time out of 15 times that actually closes red. Let's take a look at the day 2 move. It looks like it goes lower and then actually pops back up. And then, yeah, median also says it goes lower and then it pops back up. So not exactly what we want to see. But hey, you know, the stats are the stats. And this is why you look at the statistics. 53% of the time it closes red, and looks like, you know, you do get an initial push off the open to the downside where you're able to capture a 3% move or so, but then later on it does, you know, revert most of the move and go right back up. So if the stock is you know, reverting back around 10:30, maybe you want to take your profits and walk away from that point on the short side. But I am interested because of how far the stock has moved. It was recently what it's only 13%. Yeah, so the higher it goes, maybe the more fun we could have for the short side. But yes, I'm still looking for the mean reversion play on that name. Let's actually go to ARM. Let's go to ARM. See how statistics can kind of help you over here. ARM, we have a 5% gap filter, 20% gap filter. Wow, so there's only been one time where ARM gapped up 20%, and the next day, was this the day? Oh, that was the day. And the next day, the stock actually closed above its open. Surprise, surprise. Okay. But let's take a look at what was today's pop up. 5%. That's kind of what we want to see. So we want to see minimum 5 to 10% maybe. Let's limit it because we don't want that 20% data to kind of ruining the numbers. And this is where, you know, it's a little interesting. So we got a nice little four data points. 75% of the time it closed below the open, but today is not actually one of those days, because obviously we saw the stock ARM. We saw that it did not close below the open. This is the day's open and it closed well above it. The next day looks like it's actually a pretty bullish move, so you maybe not want to be looking short. But you know, from where the stock is coming to where it is, I am looking mean reversion. Okay, I am looking for a mean reversion, and we'll just have to wait and see if it sets up. For now, these stats are not exactly helping my theory, but they do work when you're, you know, using for a small cap. When you're trying to trade small cap, for example, if there was a small cap stock that you were wanting to trade today, BLBX, I guess, is a small cap stock, right? You can quickly see the statistics on the stock, and if the stock is not doing what you know, it's previously doing, that means it's a great long, and that's exactly how BLBX did today. BLBX set up for an amazing long opportunity, and reclaimed VWAP, broke through high a day, you know, gave you VWAP continuation. So all types of trade opportunities were offered on BLBX today. I'm doing a pretty horrible job at demonstrating flash research, but you know, take my word for it. Probably doing a horrible job because, you know, it's not justifying my research, and you know, it's not justifying my analysis, so it's kind of going against it. But this is an amazing tool to not only look at previous historical stats, you can also back test strategies, so which I have done. I have lots of strategies back tested, so you know, they are decent strategies that I need to actually deploy, so I can't wait to do that. Until then, you know, I'm going to keep playing with the backtest strategy and trying to refine my strategy. So yeah, go check out Flash Research. Also check out my other affiliate sponsors, Trade Ideas, TraderSync, Benzinga. Use code PRAD15 where it says, and then the other two give you 10% link off. A special link down here for those of you who actually care. Click on that link. You might learn a thing or two about trading. Until then, TraderPrad out. I wish you guys all the best tomorrow. See you guys on the final stream of the week. Peace. The watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, TraderSync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.